Hi everybody, welcome back to the Pressing Matters. I'm Scott, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the 1971 release from the Who, Who's Next. I recently decided to pick up a reissue from 2012, the Music on Vinyl pressing. And I'm going to do somewhat of a comparison to the only other copy I have, which is the Heavy Vinyl pressing, MCA Heavy Vinyl pressing from 1995. Before we do that, if you're new, please consider subscribing. Hit subscribe and notification, and you'll be sure to get all the new content that's coming up. So back in 1995, it was kind of the beginning of the vinyl renaissance, and MCA miraculously came out with this small series. I think there was less than a dozen titles, and the Who's Next, Who's Next was one of the titles, and I picked it up at that time. It's a heavy vinyl pressing, 180 gram vinyl, maybe heavier, and it's mastered by Kevin Gray, which was sort of the first I had heard about Kevin Gray, really, and I've had it in my collection since then, and I like it very much. I don't have other pressings to compare it to. It is the original mix from the analog tapes. I assume it's on all analog. And the music on vinyl is partially remixed, as far as I can gather. Information is a little short on this, but in perusing the forums and trying to glean information on it, apparently it was the tape that was used was partial remix. And the remix songs are Baba O'Reilly, Love Ain't for Keepin', My Wife, Goin' Mobile, and Behind Blue Eyes. The ones that are not remixed are Bargain, The Song Is Over, Getting in Tune, and Won't Get Fooled Again. And from my observation, listening to it, that seemed to be the case. There's obvious changes, like on Baba O'Reilly, there's a longer introduction with the synthesizer. That kind of Steve Reich kind of pattern goes on much longer, a little longer. And there's other small changes throughout the remix songs, not as obvious as that, but changes in clarity for one thing. So I really can't do a real comparison of two identical masterings, but I can give you a basic impression of what I thought. So let me look at these two issues. So this is the MCA Heavy Vinyl. They did it in a nice gatefold, like this. It is not numbered. I thought it was, but it's not numbered. It has a custom sleeve. Oh, it has one of those MoFi stiffeners in there, that type of thing. This is the custom label for the Heavy Vinyl series. And the reproduction of the cover art, I like better than this 2012 edition. It's very rich color. This one, it's probably more accurate, I guess. I don't know. This, the monolith looks a little purple in this, I guess, but either one is fine. This is not bad at all. It's a little more diffuse, a little more grainy, but overall, I like this one better. This one from Music on Vinyl comes in a flimsy jacket. So I added a stiffener to it, and it comes in a Polydor label. The generic Polydor label. Like that. So, what differences did I hear? Well, first off, as most of you probably know, Who's Next wasn't conceived as a single album as we know it today. It was part of a larger project, which Pete Townsend seems to like these big projects, the Lifehouse project, and a lot of material was done for it. But for some reason, it did not come to fruition, and they just distilled it down to this single disc, Who's Next? And for me personally, as much as I like Tommy, Quadrophenia, the other bookends of this record, I really like Who's Next the best out of all the Who's albums. I can appreciate the other two, but they're very, they're double albums, they're thematic, and a lot of the songs cannot stand on their own outside of the context of the album. And also the quality can dip, being a large work, it's not strong all the way through, I don't think. I'm talking about Tommy and Quadrophenia. They have highlights for sure that may be the best in the Who catalog, but for quality and consistency, Who's Next can't be beat, really. It's got, I don't know if these were singles, but they certainly got a lot of airplay. Baba O'Reilly, Bargain, Getting in Tune, Going Mobile, Won't Get Fooled Again, Behind Blue Eyes. It might as well be a greatest hits album. Even the songs that are a little bit possibly not on that level, I love. Love Ain't for Keeping, I love. My Wife is fantastic. The song is over. It's okay. But, it's sequenced beautifully. It keeps the energy up throughout. The quality never lags. It's fantastic, as you probably know. I remember listening to it recently, well, not recently, but a few years back on headphones on the street, which I don't normally do. I only like to listen to stuff on my stereo. But I did listen to it in full with rapt attention, and I was just like, okay, that was a great song. And then the next one will come on, I'm like, wow, that was really great too. And then on, and I was like, by the time Won't Get Fooled Again came, I was exhausted and delighted. I was like, this album is all killer, no filler, start to finish. And I absolutely love it. If I only had to have one Who album, it would be this. But as you probably know, is engineered and produced by Glyn Johns, who did many classic rock albums. This is probably the most famous that he did, I think, and he did a wonderful job with it. The remix I put on first in my little comparison, and it's not a comparison, it's kind of like a subjective opinion. To me, the remix music on vinyl pressing is beautiful, very clear. There's parts of it that stand out more. It sounds like a great tape was used. It may be digital, but it sounds fantastic. It still has that 1-2 punch. The drums are very punchy. The guitars slice through. The vocals in most songs are out front and in your face. And there's a couple where where Roger Daltrey's vocals are a little recessed. I guess that was the design of the song, but overall, a very engaging listen and certainly a great buy. The music on vinyl pressing, it's probably $30, I think, at the most. Maybe more in the US, but no, I was very impressed with it. I thought it was great. The MCA Heavy Vinyl, on the other hand, is more like I remember from the past, of course. I had this album in MCA pressings and track pressings and Decca pressings. I don't know. I forget which ones, but I had them all at one time. And it's more, the original mix is like I remember it, of course. And I thought there was a little less clarity in the original mix on the songs that, were remixed. Like, for instance, going mobile, guitars really rang out crystal clear on the remix, and a little bit more subdued on the original mix. The horns and My Wife seemed more delineated in the remix. But overall, either one is a great listen. I think people who are used to the original mix may prefer the MCA Heavy Vinyl, but overall, I think that, you know, the new mix is very exciting and very interesting to listen to. It doesn't sound particularly digital. It just sounds clear, like very clear. And the pressing is wonderful and immaculate. To me, it's kind of a win-win. You get all the impact you should from the record and a little bit of extra clarity. The heavy vinyl is a little more analog-like, a little more rounded sounding, typical of Kevin Gray's mastering, but both have their pluses. Can't make an exact comparison because they are a different thing, different animal. But if you are in the market for a good copy of Who's Next, I would try the music on vinyl pressing. Absolutely, I think you'd be very impressed with it. I don't have all these old copies anymore to compare. Trying to find a good copy of that might be a little difficult and expensive. Even the heavy vinyl will be expensive, probably $70 or so. So I can go either way on this one. I'm glad to have both, and I'm going to keep both. But I thought you'd like a little update on that and my impression on it. So thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in. If you have these or have any comments, especially about the new one, I would be very curious to see what you think about it. And if I had any misinformation, which is possible, please correct me in the comments below. Thank you for watching and have a great day. This is Scott for the Pressing Matters.